If you thought the Honey Badger and SB Tactical was the end of all of the pistol brace debacle, pretty sure you're wrong. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. VP Tactical here. As promised, would stay on top of this issue, and it appears that the ATF is making a further push. What we're looking at is a letter to the Department of Justice from the ATF, or BATF as some folks know them, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, Explosives. Basically, they are submitting further requests to essentially ban stabilizing braces. A lot of folks know them, aka pistol braces, whether it's AK, HK, AR, so on and so forth. And it's some scary things that are potentially coming up. Basically, they're only giving folks a 14-day window, is what they call it, a comment period, if you will. And so it looks like the comments can either be written or electronic. So and I'll post down in the description of what you can do to make your voice heard. Just the same whether you want to do it via regular mail or whether you'd like to do it electronically. The key important thing is, from what I understand, is that when you submit comments, you have to identify it by the docket number. The docket number here is ATF 2020R-10. And like I said, you can either do it via electronically, via this method here, www.regulations.gov, or you can mail it into the Office of Regulatory Affairs, Enforcement Program Services, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, etc. You'll see everything here on the screen. So they haven't given us a hard date yet, because this is just, again, as submitted. So assuming this gets pushed through, or begins, or when it begins, I should say, then essentially you have 14 days. From what I understand, a comment period normally lasts about 90. So it looks like, according to this document, that the ATF is only giving us a very, very short window. And essentially what their plan is, what their goal is, to essentially ban all pistol braces, or stabilizing braces, if you will, which could affect not only the firearms that I mentioned earlier too, but also shotguns too, if you have any shotgun pistols, so on and so forth. And essentially with this, what their intent is to force folks to more or less register, create a registry, which as of now, from what I understand, and I've heard things going both ways. Some say that you wouldn't have to pay a fee, some say that you would have to pay a fee, that you essentially would have to register with them essentially as an SBR, which is a short-barreled rifle. And so that draws up a lot of concern. Again, I feel like they're just pushing and encroaching on our Second Amendment rights. And ultimately, I'm not an attorney. I'm not telling you what to do and what not to do. You're going to make your own decisions whether or not you want to comply with this. But just know that these are some things that are coming down the pipeline. But I would highly, highly, highly encourage you during that comment period, when things go live, that you submit your information to them, voice your opinion, let them know that this is tyrannical. What they're doing is destroying our Second Amendment rights further than they already have been encroached upon. I mean, it's insane, that these things continue to happen, and it's only going to get worse, potentially with the new administration. So, kind of funny that all of this stuff just kind of bubbled up, right at the point that, the administration is looking to be put in place here very, very shortly, that happens to be anti-gun. And that now the ATF is really making a big push after all of this stuff. So I think at the end of the day, they'll have the support of the new office. So again, definitely some interesting things, concerning times, no question about it. And what it sounds like, I said, if you do end up registering your firearm, whether or not you have to pay the $200 tax stamp, like I said, it ends up going into a registry. It would either be as an SBR, or I know some other folks, as an alternative, from what I understand, some things that I was reading, could be registered as an AOW, which is any other weapon. That would be something that is also done via Form 1. I think actually in both scenarios, for an SBR is Form 1, and then also for an AOW is a Form 1. And then any other weapon, that could be a different classification. Again, not telling you what to do, not giving you legal advice. You make your own choices and decisions. Just simply giving you information. And on that note, on any other weapon, if that would be like, for example, if you had in this case, a AR pistol or AK pistol, and you attached a vertical grip to it, because according to the ATF, if you put a vertical grip on one of those weapons, then it becomes any other weapon, and it doesn't fall into the classification of a pistol. And that's part of the issue with all of this, is that there's just so much ambiguity around it. I mean, you make one minor change to it, and then it becomes something entirely different, and then falls under the NFA, which requires registration or additional funds paid. This is absolutely crazy. There's no consistent guidelines around any of this stuff. Like I said, it really is about ATF's whim, whether or not they decide, on one day if this is what it is, and the next day it's not. And that's not to say that some folks or companies may not have marketed things in a certain fashion, but still the same. I mean, if it's an AR pistol, it's an AR pistol. If it's an AR rifle, so on and so forth. And alternatively, aside from paying the tax stamp, from what I understand, another alternative would be to essentially put a 16-inch barrel on it, which classifies it as a rifle, and then a regular stock. And again, no legal advice, nothing of that sort, but this is just from what I gather and what I understand so far. So things are evolving, but as they change, promise to stay on top of that. Really appreciate you folks stopping by. If you like my content, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. My goal is ultimately to one, share about guns, gear, gadgets, but also two, we can't have these types of conversations if we don't have the ability to keep and bear arms, which is our Second Amendment. So that's also another important topic that I'll continue to cover from time to time as things rise and bubble up, especially if they're serious like this. Not that they're not in other cases, but this one is it's up there. Definitely something to pay attention to. Like I said, get out there, make your voice heard. Appreciate you as always. Thanks for stopping by, and be safe and stay vigilant. Take care.